Hey guys, and welcome to Gwent, the Witcher card game. My name is Jaggerous, and today I've been playing around with some decks on the PTR, and I want to show you my Skellige bear deck. Now, bear in mind that this is the PTR, so none of this is really final. This isn't a deck guide per se, so much as some gameplay with one of the decks that I've made, just to kind of show off the PTR, see some of the changes, see the kind of options that you have for deck building, and kind of talk about the new cards a little bit. So this is the Bear With Me deck. And we have Crack and Crate as our leader, so a very standard leader. Strengthen the highest loyal unit in your deck by 2 and play it, and that's with the Jenge combo. Deal 1 damage to 2 allies and strengthen self by 2 for each. So we have Crack and Jenge, and then we have obviously Sigurdrifa, which can resurrect a bronze or silver clan unit, so she can then resurrect Jenge, and that is a great power play. Then on top of that, we have this kind of beast backbone to the deck. So we have Olaf. Deal 10 damage to self. Reduce the damage inflicted by 2 for each beast you played this match. So it's not played this round, it's played this match. And this deck has a lot of options in terms of beasts. So for example, when you play Olaf, you'll actually thin Roach from your deck, and Roach is a beast. And on top of that, there's lots of different bears. For example, Gremist, he has Raw, and if you play Raw, you spawn a bear. And this is a 11 strength bear, so we have that option. We also have Rain and Clear Skies. So no longer Fog on Gremist, and he's now 4 power. Then on top of that, we have the Raging Berserkers. Whenever this unit is damaged, transform into a Raging Bear. So we have this 12 strength bear here. On top of that, we have Clan Protectors. Play a bronze item from your deck, and we're going to be using these in order to pull our Bone Talismans, which is a bronze item. Choose one. Resurrect a bronze beast or Svalblod unit and boost it by 2, or heal an ally and strengthen it by 3. So we're going to then be using this to resurrect the bears formed by the Raging Berserkers, the Raging Bears. And on top of that, at the moment, the bears spawned by Clan Protector, not by Clan Protector, sorry, the bears spawned by Clan Beastmaster, these 11 strength bears, actually end up in your graveyard. They have token, which says a unit that is removed from the game at the end of the round, but they don't seem to be getting removed from the game at the moment. So currently, you can actually use your Bone Talisman to also spawn these bears, which means you'll always have lots of targets for it. We also have Priestess of Freya, resurrect a bronze soldier, and bear in mind that Clan Beastmasters are a bronze soldier, so we can use the Priestess of Freya to resurrect the Beastmasters, and then once we've resurrected the Beastmasters, spawn more bears. So that's us then playing loads of beasts, which means that Olaf is often a 20-point play. And then you can also renew Olaf, which gives him even more points. We have Muzzle, which is just, generally a good gold card. We have Udalric in order to look at card advantage, and often you can actually play Udalric and win a round just because of how much tempo this deck has. And then we have Restore. And Restore we can either use on a Battle Maiden, a Heime Battle Maiden, in order to resurrect a Battle Maiden, then deal damage to one of our soldiers, so either the Raging Berserker or the Beastmaster, and thin it from our deck. Or you can just use Restore on a Beastmaster, resurrecting, then making an 8 strength Beastmaster, and then that 8 strength Beastmaster spawns an 11 strength bear, and then you could Priestess of Freya the 8 strength Beastmaster. So there's lots of kind of options here, and honestly, in terms of the ratio of Bone Talismans to Priestesses and whatnot, that's something that you can kind of play around with, but at the moment I'm just running 2 and 2, and it seems to be quite successful. So that's the deck, and without further ado, I'm going to jump into a game, and I'll showcase this deck in action for you.
I've had men killed for less.
You've got the heart of an uncrate.
Okay, so in terms of the mulligan, you want to get rid of Bone Talismans because you can pull them later on. And obviously we want to get rid of Roach, so we'll get rid of one of those. And we'll get rid of Roach. And also, actually, you want to get rid of Jenge because he's your Crack and Crate target, so we're going to get rid of him. Having Priestesses isn't too bad, because if you play a Beastmaster, you can then kill it with the Heime, pull another Beastmaster, and put it in your graveyard, which then gives you a Restore target, which is really nice. In terms of opening plays, we can play a Raging Berserker, and that generally encourages him to think about playing his Radovid. So we can do that now. Objectively, we're not going to play both of them until after he's played a lock. And actually using Alzur's Thunder to put it in the graveyard isn't too bad, because again, we can resurrect it with the Priestess of Freya. But for now, let's play a Beastmaster and then a bear. And you'll notice there that the Alzur's Thunder is now a 9 damage rather than a 7 damage, so that's been buffed.
Salutations.
There's a Kidweni Siege Support. That's the kind of thing that we would have muzzled. As it is, let's play a Raging Berserker. And we can actually thin the last Raging Berserker with the Heime Battle Maiden if he doesn't do anything about it. So that is an option.
Will be done.
As it is, though, he has more electricity, so he's just killing them. And this is a bit awkward because we're getting, fewer beasts into our graveyard. But on the flip side, we can play this Battle Maiden, damage the Beastmaster, pull another Beastmaster, pull another bear, and you can see that this is where this kind of strategy is going. Ockfist. So Ockfist, after 4 turns, deal 1 damage to all enemies, and he's a bit stronger. But we can just Coral this. And playing Coral's not bad, also because what it does is it thins Roach, which is another beast, which means Olaf is going to be big. And it also, you know, stops that from triggering, which is always nice. There's Battering Ram. I guess he'll hit something else. Haymay Battle Maiden. Honestly, those aren't too bad because we have the option of resurrecting and restoring. We could potentially just restore the Bearmaster and get another bear on the board, but at that point you are putting yourself at risk of Scorch. So instead what I'm going to do is play Crack, boost Majenge, pull him out, damage both of these bears, and that was a hell of a lot of points. So not too bad. We played 19 points there, and our opponent has chosen to pass. We will also pass. Now, we could dry pass. You know, short rounds are fine for us. Long rounds are kind of fine for us. So, ultimately, we can kind of go either way here. We do have Udalric in the deck, so maybe we're better kind of sitting on it. That restore is huge. But typically, what we want to do with that restore is we want to restore Olaf. So, what I'm going to do, I think, is mulligan the Bow Talisman into Gremist. And then we can play Olaf. And then by playing Olaf, we've basically put him into a position where it's a bit tricky for him because of the tempo. The other thing we actually would like to do this round is to restore a Beastmaster. So let's play our restore, because then we have it as a resurrect target. We'll restore a Beastmaster, and this thing gives us a really good resurrect. We'll play the Beastmaster because we want to resurrect this next round. Then we play the 11 strength bear, which is another bear. And you can see we still got these old bears in our graveyard, which is kind of interesting. He's played Ronvid, so we could artifact compress Ronvid, but ultimately I think we just play Olaf. And apparently not played quite enough bears. Interesting. We've played 1, 2, 3. I thought we'd played 4 because we played this one as well, but still a 16-point play. And at this stage, we're probably quite comfortable to pass. We have our restore target. You know, we have a lot of options with our bears. We could choose to play this as a 12-point play, but at this stage, he's got damage ticking, and he's got a 14-point play there, so we're just going to pass. We are, in fact, up by 15, so Radovid wouldn't be enough. It would put him on even, so he'd have to play another card after this, which he may have realized. Has he realized?
Not test my patience.
I guess not. Or maybe, you know, he did realize. Don't know. But at this point, we're now a card up, and we have some huge plays. We can renew this Olaf. We can resurrect the 8-strength dude into a bear. We can Clan Beastmaster another bear. We can Sigdriff a Jenge. We can Gremist a bear. Like, it's you know, we are fully flexing our Second Amendment rights, and we have the rights to bear arms. I'm going to get rid of the Haymay because I've thinned all of my Beastmasters, I believe, so we'll get rid of her. And actually gotten a Clan Protector, which is going to give us a bear resurrect or a heal. So, you know, we have that option as well. And all in all, I think we're in a really, really strong position here. Especially as he has to go first, and we can save our renew play on Olaf till the very last play.
What do you want?
Okay, so Siege Support, and interesting that he rezzed there. So he rezzed after he played the Siege Support, which is really odd. Really, really odd. So let's play a bear. And we do want to be a little bit careful in terms of how we play this. How many turns are left? The thing is with Raw, we need a Priestess target. So we may as well play this before we play Grimmist. So we'll resurrect this 8-strength dude. And get yet another bear. So many bears. And then we can Grimace this one. But we have to be a little bit careful in terms of Scorch. So I'll probably look to resurrect Jenge beforehand. He does have lots of crewmen, and that can be a little bit frustrating. But all in all, I think it's fine. We'll take this guy. We'll damage this one. And this one. And there we go. Big 20-point body on the board. 51 points to 28 with a card up. This is what I mean. This deck is gross. I feel like the bear token is likely to change. In all honesty, at this stage, like, I feel like with the way that the game is,
Not a moment's pace.
I don't think they'll leave it the way that it is, you know, currently, just because it's too easy. And there's the forfeit. We didn't even get to resurrect Olaf. This is the deck. This is the deck. I'll jump into another game and I'll showcase it once more for you guys.
Be gone. Be gone.
You've got the heart of an uncrate.
So once again, in the mulligan, you're getting rid of your bone talismans, you're getting rid of your roach, and if you happen to have Jenga, you're getting rid of that. We can probably afford to get rid of Clan Protector because we don't need these till later on. Whereas Priestesses are useful because we can put Clan Beastmasters into our graveyard, so I'm going to mulligan him as well. There is a risk that you pull Jengi, but it's usually okay. Whispering Hillock is a new leader. Create a bronze or silver beast. I think actually this used to be an organic card, so they must have changed it. So you create a bronze or silver beast. And it looks like we've got a Moonlight deck. So this unit's in Moonlight, and then you get buffs. And look at this cool effect. This is so pretty. Like, the art team deserves some respect for that, because that looks freaking cool. I think what we will do is we will play our Raging Berserker.
Name! Destroy!
Because it means that he won't play... he's unlikely to play Moonlight against us. And you'll notice that she is a beast, so the Moonlight actually buffed her. Because Moonlight buffs beasts and vampires, I believe. It's a random beast or vampire on the row. This is Werewolf. Werewolf gets boosted by 7 on contact with Full Moon, and he's actually immune. Actually, what we could do here as a counter, although it's not going to be enough points, it doesn't actually matter too much, is we can play Gremist. And if we play Gremist onto Rain, that overrides the... that should override the Moonlight.
Gods.
So we maybe should have done that earlier. But we can get rid of it and start to deal damage to those units. It's likely, though, that Moonbeaver has more Moonlight in their deck. So that's the kind of toss-up that you make.
Wouldn't want to hurt us,
And
would you?
weirdly left the rain running. And played that on a different row. It's a strange decision. We'll play another Raging Berserker. Because we can actually trigger both of these with Jenge. So that's pretty okay. And I'm not overly concerned because we have a decent amount of tempo. Ideally, we want to wait till she gets boosted and then potentially think about muzzling her. I'm playing all my units on one row. Although, actually, this is risky, because if I play all my units on one row and he Moonlights, then they're going to take a lot of damage. Because Moonlight, you can play Blood Moon on your opponent, and if you do that, it damages all the units on the row. So I shouldn't be stacking. The reason I was stacking was because... Why was I stacking? Oh, because I wanted these guys to get hit so that they got triggered. Oof, but there they go. That's not actually a huge issue for us. So we'll play our Beastmaster, and then our Bear, and then we can thin a Beastmaster with the Battle Maiden on the next turn. And the thing is, like, we've negated his Moonlight with our Rain. So that was a consume. So Baba Gezi is basically like Ekamara now, and he actually pulled a unit out of the Rain, which was quite smart. But we can Battle Maiden this guy, and then we thin another one. And I want to be a little bit careful about how I play these. If I play them like this, the row doesn't add up to 25, so I don't have to be worried about Igni. Whereas if I played it on the front row, then, you know, that's definitely a concern. And realistically, we want to restore that bear dude now, because then it's in the graveyard and we can Priestess it for it on the next turn. There's Giels into a gold or a silver. Into... Holy smokes. Take your time. Agura, this creates a bronze or silver spell. You don't know what he's going to get. So it'll be interesting to see. He got Frightener. And then moved the bear. We are on 81 points on even. I think at this point you just pass. We are 22 points up. Does he have a 22-point play? I feel like he probably doesn't. I mean, he could roll RNG. I mean, technically it's only a... Yeah, he needs a 22-point play to catch up. Although he's got actually this triggering, so he'd get an extra point from that. And there we are on even. We can dry pass for card advantage. It depends what we draw, though, because realistically we want to play Restore this round so that we have that 8 strength Beastmaster in our graveyard. That would be really fantastic. This gives us the option to resurrect a bear. And also we need to play a gold this round such that Renew has a target. I'm tempted to mulligan this. Let's mulligan this. Oh, I got a talisman. That's okay, we can mulligan that next turn. So we'll open with this. You see he's got the carryover, so we can't really drive past him anyway. Then we take the Beastmaster. He becomes an 8. We play the Beastmaster.
Hey, don't like you.
And there we go, 19 points. And realistically, we also want to look out for a resurrect target. Not a resurrect target, a muzzle target. So that, again, we can renew one of these. So here comes Whispering Hillock.
Freedom.
Just opted to play it into Manticore Venom, and he's killed our bear. Just, you know, not a bad play. He's managed to catch up. So we can actually afford to play the Bone Talisman this round. It's not a huge deal. We don't have 2 points attached, but we would just resurrect a 12. Which isn't too bad, all things considered. Because ideally I want to find a better coral target and a better muzzle target than an 8. So I think we do take this. This heals an ally, and this resurrects. So when you're on the screen, make sure you pick the right one. And there we go, more bears. And you can see it got boosted by 2, so it's actually a 14-point res. And if you play that with the guy that target draws, that's then a 16-point play. And this deck is ridiculous because all of your plays are very high tempo, and I think it's really hard for your opponent to keep up. Alright, play me a muzzle target, please. Or a coral target. I mean, we could have coraled his carryover, but because he played the Frightener, at that point we needed to pass. Like, a long round 1 is fine for us. Has he not already played Gills? No. GG. Well, there you go, you guys. That was kind of disappointing. We didn't even get to do our whole strategy. I'll jump into one last game, and I'll showcase this deck once more for you.
You are here as a diversion, for my pleasure alone.
You've got the heart of an uncrate.
Okay, so up against the new Northern Realms leader, Ada. She suggests a curse deck. In terms of mulligan, as always, get rid of Bone Talisman. I'm going to get rid of Clan Protector because we don't usually need them till later. We have all of our golds, which is fantastic. Sig and Restore, really, really good. And honestly, I think I'm going to leave it here. I don't want to risk pulling Jenge, and I don't want to risk pulling Roach. Right, so let's see what we have here. So I'm wondering if this is a kind of...
How did that incantation go?
I was going to say a spam deck, where they spam out special cards and the new cursed unit that spawns an extra copy every time you play a special card, because that can kind of get out of control. We'll open with this Raging Berserker.
Hail your heart!
And I'm wondering if we thin with the Battle Maiden. I think we can afford to thin a... I was going to say one of those, but actually we got electrocuted. Feels bad. Oh well. It's not too bad. We still have a bear. And we can thin another one of those with the Battle Maiden, which is not too bad. You're shooting my bears. These cursed deck. Fucking rude. So we kill this. It's now in the graveyard, which isn't too bad. And then we've got some more bears. And we can now restore that, which is, you know, ultimately what we want to do with this deck. So we'll play Restore. Nice and early. Grab the Beastmaster. Gives us an 8 strength Beastmaster, which we want to play because we want it in our graveyard. Because if it's in our graveyard, then what we can do is we can then resurrect it in the future. And this is kind of ridiculous. We have a lot of bears. That's 3. And then if we play Beastmaster, that's 4. The other thing we want to do is thin Jenge, but we have to decide whether we want to do that this round or kind of later on. We can pass actually here for 2-card advantage, which I think is probably a wise decision. So let's just do that. We got so much tempo that he just couldn't keep up. And as a result, we go 2 cards up, which is, you know, nothing to turn your nose up at. Okay, I've not actually played against a curse deck yet, so this is a new experience for me of trying to figure out what it is my opponent's trying to do. But I'm very comfortable with this bear deck, so you know it's very easy to play as well. This is kind of one of those decks that doesn't feel difficult. There's a resurrect, which is lovely. We can res our 8 strength dude. We'll chuck the bone talisman. We got Udalric. Udalric isn't ideal here, but he's not too bad. If our opponent dry passes, all we'll do is we'll play Olaf, because then we have a renew target. Which might happen because we're 2 cards up. So let's play this. And also that actually thins Roach. Which we'd like to have done later, but doing it now is fine. And then we pass. The alternative is we could have played Coral if we expect to want to play her, you know, next round. But, you know, we have her in our hand, and I think this is a better resurrect target, all in all. So again, we'll toss the talisman. We actually haven't thinned Jenge yet, which is a little bit awkward. And, oh gosh, there he is in our hand. But what it does mean is that Sig we can just use to resurrect, you know, a bear or something. There's plenty of good options is the thing, so it's not too much of a struggle. I maybe actually should have played Udalric on the last round where I could have played it for free and just traded it out because my play was such big tempo. And that potentially would have been a smarter play. On the flip side, we can also resurrect the Heimei and then we can thin from our deck more orders. So this is a slightly awkward draw, but all in all, it's not too bad. Let's get more bears.
Sure, you can pet him, long as you don't mind losing an arm.
So this is the one that typically leads to a lot of chaining with spells. So potentially I think for this one it's actually worth playing the Coral here and just not dealing with that. It's not a big Coral, but ultimately it stops his strategy of chaining, which we want to be able to stop. And we also have the muzzle, which we can use to stop that, which is actually really, really good here, because if he does the same thing, we've basically negated his strategy. Because what that card does is, well, it currently doesn't show what it does because it's not here, because I turned it into a Jade figurine. But what it does is every time you play a spell, it spawns a copy of itself. And then the one that originally activated can't reactivate, but the one that gets spawned can. So, oh, he's actually got lucky and pulled another one. So yeah, whenever you play the next spell or item, spawn a copy of this unit on its row. Right, so it spawns, you know, more and more of these, and it can kind of get insane. So we're just not gonna deal with it. And then look, we played a spell. Yeah, there you go. You see how it works there. And actually, if that guy was an 8, that would be a huge muzzle. And now I actually have the option of every time I play a spell, getting another Kidwenny Revenant. So I've kind of used this strategy against him a little bit, which is probably making his life kind of awkward. And the thing is, because we went into this round 1 card up, we're actually kind of alright to play Udalric, because that's not going to necessarily harm us, because we already have card advantage.
I am ready.
Where is Sabrina?
Oh, nice. And now we can now renew Coral, so he's kind of helped us there. Right, so let's play Crack. Unfortunately, like I said, because we have Jenge, we get 10 strength one of these, which we don't necessarily want to hit. It's not perfect, but it's not terrible. It thins the deck, and we can always resurrect our Battle Maiden and then thin another one. And then if we do that, we can also then use Sigdriffer to resurrect the Beastmaster. So all in all, I think we're okay here. So we'll play our res. I keep wanting to play this on the back row just because of how, you know, it used to be. Oh wait, it can't res the Heimei because it's not a soldier. I stand corrected. What we can do though is we can res this Raging Berserker. And then when we play Jenge, we have then 2 targets that we can trigger them both, which isn't too bad. It means that Jenge's damage isn't actually damage because it just gives us strength. We're currently on 44 to 28 with 4 cards apiece. And bear in mind, this is the big bear, you know. It's Coral or it's the big bear. Okay, so that's kind of awkward. It means that I can't clear this, because if I play a special card, these are all going to get damaged. But they're not going to die, and this guy's actually going to gain a benefit. So it's actually not too bad if he triggers it. If I trigger this into a bear, then that's no longer as useful. So I'm just trying to think what the best strategy is here. I think we play this. And we shoot this one. And I guess we shoot this one. Because he's gonna trigger my Berserker anyway, so I'm not gonna trigger it myself. Unless he doesn't have a special card, in which case he won't. But it does mean if I play Renew, it triggers. So either way, this is likely to get triggered.
Nasty wounds, those, but you'll live.
Okay, so let's play Sig. Let's get our 8 strength bear master. Play him.
Come here.
Get
I'm
another
gonna
bear.
heart a bear hug.
And 81 to 42. This is not looking good for next generation. Because with Muzzle and Coral, we basically completely shut down his strategy. He killed my bear. That's so rude. This is going to trigger this. I think I'm okay with that. It's still more points. Boom. And actually, because it was a spell, it spawned me another one. Which, you notice it spawned another one and then it got hit. So you need to be a little bit aware of the kind of ordering with those kind of situations.
I'll gather my men.
And we don't even need to play. If we play Ulrich, we're actually still ahead. That's so BM.
The guards won't be pleased.
Oh dear. I'm gonna stop BMing. I want more bears.
Freya's bulwark. That's what we are.
I want more bears. More bears. You guys, we need more bears. Oh my god, it's a spell as well. Holy shit, that's retarded. That is so strong! Like, being able to steal one of these is disgusting. Like, Muzzle is such a good counter to this curse strategy, because I got 4 dudes out of that. Like, 1 Muzzle got me 4 dudes, so Muzzle is insanely good against that. Yeah, that's the bear deck, you guys. And like I say, even if the 11 strength bears aren't necessarily doomed, I think you can just thin out some talismans and put in more Freyas, and it more or less works out pretty well. Like, even if that token thing is, as I say, and the bears are doomed, you're still in a really good position. Like, all of your plays more or less are tempo plays. Like, you don't really have any very small value plays, and that means that it's really, really easy to gain card advantage, and it's very, very hard for your opponent to keep up. And this is a problem. I think this deck is kind of a little bit overpowered. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, whether you think that CDPR will make changes. This is obviously the PTR, so not public or not live. Not public. Not live. It is public. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. You can play the PTR yourself. It's public, like I say. And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. Maybe subscribe to the channel. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Jaggerous, and on Twitter, @Jaggerous. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day. And hopefully I will catch you in the next video. Bye!